Hi there, and welcome to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to go into a little side jaunt from the little piles that I've had in my scrapbooks and everything else, and do a little history of some of the fanzines. There's quite a bit of fanzines that came out in the 70s and 80s, and unfortunately, I was never aware of them ever until much later in life, which is a real bummer. I would have loved to have been in on these at the time. There was also a thing called the Book of Miracles, which some of you may or may not know. And I think the lady who put it on was Linda. I can't remember her name, but it was a collection of, fan fiction, poems, artwork, and just a lot of stuff, and compiled and presented to Stevie at some point, as I'm told. Just a really neat piece, and it's kind of a hard little piece of Stevie Nicks memorabilia to find nowadays. I unfortunately also don't have a copy of that. But what I do have is a hodgepodge of fanzines that I've come across over time. I've had some, I've given some away, I've sold some, unfortunately, and because I never had them all, and I'm kind of the kind of person who, if I don't have it all, the whole collection, I just am kind of weird like that. Actually, as it is, keeping these has been kind of weird. I'm also not sure who put all these out, so I was kind of unsure whether to name anybody, because I don't know if they want their names, put here. So I think I'm just not going to do that. But if anybody asks me in the comments or, says, hey, why didn't you give me your name? I will definitely present that and make note of it in another video. But just because, going from paper, something tangible to online, I just don't know if people want their names said or not. So I'm just trying to be protective. One person had their picture in here, and I kind of got an acquaintance with that person, and they asked me not to share it, and that's exactly why I reached out to them. So we're just going to kind of skip over those parts. I am going to start off with one person who went, again, if you have nothing nice to say, say nothing at all. So I'm just going to kind of flash this. This was a fanzine called The Wild Heart, and it was put out by a fan, and I use that term loosely. It's I don't have any other pieces of it. I have what got sent to me, which was, like sample pages, the order form. It's strange. This person who put this on was a peculiar individual. I've heard that they passed away. I don't know. I don't care. But yeah, this is just one I've never seen in person. I'm only seeing these little pieces that I got sent. And I do keep it just because I'm that kind of person, but it's not one that I would go around and be like, oh my God, you should see this, because I don't know if the physical thing exists or just these, if it was I don't know if it's something that ever came to fruition. I've never seen a copy of it. But there was one called The Wild Heart. And actually, before I get ahead of myself, I thought this was also kind of fun. Again, I don't know the person wants their name, but I have a lot of mailers and stuff like that came from the 70s and 80s and 90s. And this information I'm covering is probably ancient history, but just in case anybody's name or name is on there, that's why I don't want to show it. But this person, would send out a mailer to, about their video list. They would go out and they would record stuff. And I think that they still do. But it's just really neat. And it's just a little catalog just full of different dates and stuff. And I love stuff like this. This again is just really a peek into the world before the internet, before everything was on YouTube. Even I've got a huge collection of VHSs still. I gave a lot away. But I have stuff VHS still. I have DVDs, with all these, commercials or the videos or segments where they're on talk shows or concerts, whatever, just a myriad of stuff. And, but this person back in the day would sell them, would compile them and sell them. And it's so cool to, have access to stuff like this way back when. So I thought that was kind of cool. Another mailer that I have that, again, I will cover the person's name. But the person had, see if their name is on there. It is not, but they were selling their entire collection. And so they sent out this, pamphlet thing. And a friend of my friends got this, and I got it from her. So this person had to sell off their entire collection. So again, I'll just show most of it without the bottom part where their names are at. this person, I don't know this person. I know that they're still around and they're still in the Steve. I don't know if they're still in the Steve community, but they're still around. But there's the page and back and everything like that of all the stuff, and it's like, again, back in the day. Now it's so fun to go, through stuff like this and be like, oh my God, do I have this? Um, so much of it I do, but there's still plenty that I don't. And it's really neat to see all this stuff. So, but that was just a really cool little, collection of somebody's collection. They had to sell it. And this was this is dated, pardon me. It's not actually, I don't know. I'm going to guess around the 90s. Half of what they have is, there's nothing past like Street Angel, I think, if that. So yeah, somebody had this other collection, which, this might be me someday. It'd be great. I would do this. I would do it the old fashioned way and send these out to people who want an interest and go over it. Cause I think this is fun. This is just so cool to go over and just mark it off or mark what you wanted and, or put on your wish list. And I love stuff like this. So there's that weird stuff. So there's the Crazy Person's fanzine. There's some cool mailers from the past. The first fanzine that I only have one issue of was the Velvet Underground. I do know this person, and this person is phenomenal. The person who put this together, and this is out of Arizona, and just some little stuff in there. And again, this came out in July, August, September 1987. There's little like personal ads, if you will. There's people's concert reviews. So cool. I mean, just, if I couldn't have gone to these shows, being able to see them myself. Let's see here. I'll block some of this stuff here. So somebody, talking about these pictures and stuff here, and on the other side was again somebody's concert review, but I don't want their photo to be seen. So, and funny, some of the photos that were in here, it says photos from Star World, which is that place I've told you guys about that I've gone to, and as I'm sure many of you were familiar with. I don't think anybody's name is on here, so here's a full review with their ticket stub. I'm going to see a show in 1987. Just, like everything, like we all get online now, we show our pictures online, which is great. And it's what I'm doing here is great. And I actually thought before starting the video channel of doing a fanzine or something. I'm kind of old school like that. And I actually would have much preferred to have done that. But today's technology and cost and stuff like that, and people, even the ones here from the 80s, people were talking about who would go out and photocopy these. And you've seen all the photos I show. And if I did that, where they turn around and sell them. And I mean, I care and I don't care, but it's a bummer. I think it's just something that, I've got them. I want to give that to you. I don't want somebody else taking it and turning and profiting off of it and giving it to you themselves. I'm the one who has it. I'm the one who wants to bring it to you. And so I think that that's how these people felt back in the day about their stuff, as they should. It belongs to them. They're the ones who got it or had the experience, and they're the ones who want to share it. So, there's some people's pictures on the back. So again, I don't want to show that just in case, anybody doesn't want to be, I don't want to call it by name or show their picture just in case. Another fanzine. So that was one issue that I have of the Velvet Underground. Another fanzine that came out that is actually one of my favorites was Dreams. This is just like a paper, I don't know if this is like just a little bio or just a little extra, piece that came with it. Again, there's some magazines that they were in. So it shows magazines from 1978 to 1984. Again, if I had had this back in the day, I would have been checking over that list and, I also have people's, and I think I mentioned it also, people's handwritten collections. A friend that I have who I didn't want to bring that out either and show her because it's her handwriting and hers. I know that's weird, but it's just hers. It belongs to her. But she shared it with me. And back in 1997 or so, when I got it, I mean, I was like this, going over that list of what, you know, it was all her 45s. And you've seen how many 45s I have. And she was actually my inspiration. She really, she had quite a few. And she still might have more than I do. Maybe not, but real close. But I just remember going over her 45 list that was handwritten in order and going, what the hell? Like, this stuff exists? I mean, I had no idea. And this is definitely at the beginning of the internet. But prior to that, in, you know, 84 and 87, getting stuff like this, you know, just would have been so cool. This one doesn't have a number on it. I can't tell what issue this is. So I'm just going to start with it. It's at the beginning. But it's a letter that was given to the person who created it from Ginny Kimono, which was Stevie's personal assistant, and would send letters out to fans who were lucky enough. I have one thing from her, I think, which is, you know, I wish I had more. But in this, there's like a Buckingham Nicks review from, gosh, I don't know where this is from. But, you know, it's stuff, it's people's collection, like, again, basically what I'm showing you, but in a fanzine. You know, people would send stuff in, you know, to photocopy or to share, or, you know, the person who put this fanzine together had it themselves. And then some people shared, you know, what are still pretty rare photos. Like, this is just a really cool photo right here that, you know, I can't say that I've seen other than probably in this. And it's just how unique is that, you know? And I still come across these once in a while, and I'll see photos and be like, oh my God, I just, you know, this one I think I've seen before, but probably it was the first time was in this. It's really cute. So yeah, so this one again, just this is really nice. The paper that it's on is really nice. Really nice, you know, front and back cover and everything like that. The person who put it together has some pictures. Again, I don't want to show her personal pictures because this is live, or, you know, a video, not something like that. But she put together just a really nice zine, and it looked like it went on for a while. These are all hers, and I certainly don't have every issue. Again, this one doesn't have a number either, or I think this one. And I don't know that these. I don't. These are old, but I don't know that they're originals. They kind of look like they are, but they could be photocopied. It's hard to say. But like, look at this picture too. That was Stevie at the Start Club. So somebody had written up or sent in a review or talking about Stevie, when Stevie went in and invested in this club that opened up in 1984. It was a short-lived club, but Stevie performed there. I think Grace Jones did as well. I don't want to put this person's name up, but the credit is I'll just give the last name, which is Murray, because I want to give the proper credit on there. But a great photo taken after the Belladonna concert in 1981 in Dallas, Texas, at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. So just really cool. Another issue here. Again, I'm not sure that these are originals. This one was November, December 1984. Not much in this one. I mean, to show you that, again, I just really don't want to show anybody's names. I don't want to get, oh, it's cool that they put Richard and Moss in here, though, with proper credit. Picture. That's really cool. Here's a little cute little thing to fill out to send in. So who are the gypsies? Your name, you know, city, blah, 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 age, marital status. When did you become aware of Stevie? What was the first song you heard of hers? When did you become interested in her? What do you like most about her? It's almost like a slam book, like in the, I'm just aging myself. Just stay with me here. What do you like least about her? What are your favorite Stevie tunes? Have you seen her in concert? solo with Fleetwood Mac, etc. Is Stevie definitely your favorite artist? Yes or no? What other artists do you like? What would you like to know about Stevie? If you could speak to her, what would you tell her or ask her? What would you like to see in this newsletter, and other comments? Just a great little questionnaire. Hell, I don't even know half the answers. What I'd answer on that. She's definitely my favorite artist, though. So definitely an original here. So I think a main contributor is I know Jean Enlow, and I know that Jean passed away, and I mentioned her before, so I don't, with all due respect to the deceased, but I don't think it's a problem mentioning her name. I've mentioned in the past that she was my friends were friends with her or knew her, and she was a huge Stevie Nicks fan, and I have some stuff that was hers, and but to be kind of in this community is that's just a name to know, just a really big fan. And I think it's also really cool to that people still know that we still know, and you see things like this that you remember those fans. And again, that's kind of a little piece that I like to bring to this, to my little videos here, is it's not just me, there's all these people who came before. When I share photos from other people, I like expressing or realize or knowing their story, like where they were at, where they took the photos, etc., and just how cool that must have been for them. So another issue that was August, September. Again, another little thing by Jean. But I know the other contributor here is, I know, still pretty prominent in the community. So again, I just don't know if she'd like her name given out or posted online. So so that one was, last one was Flying High with Belladonna Part 1, and this was Part 2. So then kind of like a little review and a thing about Belladonna. Somebody had taken a photo of her home in Phoenix once upon a time. Next issue here. Bio on Rock a Little. It's really nice photo here. I just love all the different colors of them too, and this is just a such a time in the '80s, but a very cool way to do it, And the photos at the time were unique, A really cool record store. You see that? Okay. Promo layout there. Kind of hard to see, but pretty cool. It says, Dream salutes Hit Records in Dallas, Texas for the best display of Stevie's latest. The entire window reflects Rock a Little. That is pretty cool. Next up here. I think just Fleetwood Mac Live is what this bio is about in here. Some nice artwork from, her name is Lisa Carrier. Beautiful artwork here. I don't think she'll mind. She doesn't draw anymore. I mean, Stevie stuff, I don't think. She had some, I have a mailer by her, and I actually got some stuff from her one time. So, and then the last issue I have of this fanzine here. Really cute picture of Stevie there. Definitely fun fanzine. It's really to the point. There's a couple of them. There's one I got, and I don't remember which one it was, but it's just like a bunch of like, yeah, I don't want to pick on it because again, everybody's different idea and everybody's different approach. Even that first person, which I said I use the term lightly. Well, no, that person's still just weird. But this other fanzine that I had was just a bunch of like, I don't know, like a, I don't know, it was almost like social media, to be honest with you. It's just a bunch of like people. They weren't even discussing Stevie so much as that, you know, I don't know. I don't know. It was a weird one, and it didn't have like any up to date stuff. It was I don't remember the name of it, but it was just very strange fanzine. So yeah, so those are the issues of Dreams that I have. Certainly not in their whole collection. I would like to have all pieces, but I don't even know how close I am. A lot of these, I don't know how long they lasted, to be honest with you. This one was a cool. I don't know why it fell out or came out. This was by another fan that is still on the internet. Again, I hope they don't mind my naming their name because I'm showing their photos, but it was Anne Morgan. And I think she's responsible for the fanzine rumors. Her, I don't think she'll mind. But again, I just wouldn't want to show her photos without giving credit to the photographer. This was a really nice, really slick, really nicely done magazine, and she is a great person, a really super awesome fan. And again, some of her photographs, super nice. Yeah, this one is just loaded with photographs, having seen her at Lakewood Amphitheater, Atlanta, Georgia, in 1989. So, like I said, just loaded with pictures. And then here's the kaleidoscope. I'm going to do another video on just kind of the some of the little ends and odds collectible stuff on Fleetwood Mac with the kaleidoscope and stuff I do have. That'll be a little separate video. That was a cool little piece. And then I love these fanzines also for seeing stuff that, you know, again, I don't have a lot, you know, stuff like I have probably everything here, but I don't even know what that is. But that's really cool. Looks like just a little poster maybe. But it's awesome and I would like it. But all the little pieces down here, you know, again, back in the day, probably the only way to find out, which is probably why I didn't have as much of my collection, was to have these fanzines and see all the 45s and such that were coming out. And here's a whole thing about the holographs, like I've shown you guys in the past. Holograms. This is actually this is funny. This is that person I got so much of my stuff from. But this poster, I actually have this poster. But this is something that was a big seller back in the day for artwork from, you know, from and by fans. So that was really cool. Another issue of Rumors. And again, I'm confident I don't have every, I'm sure I don't have every issue of this magazine. And I don't know how many were in this, you know. Cute little calendar thing here. A little nod to Sharon for her birthday. Pen pals, so much fun. I always look for people. Do I know these people or have I seen them? But yeah, all these are just really cool. So a couple more issues. I don't want to go through everything and make this video too long, but again, especially since I'm not deciding to give names. This was a really cool, I guess this was a fan-made comic strip. Super cute. one looks like it might be missing stuff in here. Then it got smaller. This is a pretty prominent issue that I see on Facebook. Jesus Christ, on eBay a lot. Seems like a lot of people. Now this one came out in, let's say 89 or 90. So, 1990. So I think maybe a few more people getting online a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. It just seems like this one, I see this one the most of all the fanzines, particularly this issue episode. Again, lots of fan pictures. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know these people or their names, so I don't want to. What a great picture, Stevie. At the Greek Theater. Next up, this issue, which seems to be kind of the second most prominent one that I see. Stevie Nicks plans on adopting a child. Many times we've read that. Great stuff. And the last one that I have, some beautiful artwork on here by Johanna Peterman, pretty sure. So the person who was at the very beginning that I showed actually contributed to this fanzine as well. So maybe, I don't know if they didn't get their own up off the ground, but yeah. Anyway. Lastly, we have Silver Springs magazine. Now, to my knowledge, I've only ever seen these 4. Not that there aren't more, but these were one of the most beautifully put out. These look like full magazines. These were really nicely done fanzines. Again, let's see who this one is. Enchantress. I don't think anybody's name is on here. I'm honestly, I apologize. I'm not sure who did do these. So, yeah, just really nicely done fanzine. This was supposedly, I had brought this up in my video of Stevie Nicks records for Belladonna. That was purportedly the original cover of the Belladonna album. And this is one of the few places where I've seen it talked about. Supposedly 12 of these photographs were printed, like, in album form, supposedly. I've never seen or known anybody with one, but supposedly, and I think I did bring that up in my albums. I just didn't have the picture to share or show. That was kind of a neat thing. Again, merchandise and a collage of stuff in the show. Very cool. So this was issue number 1. Issue number 2. And it's cool because on the back page, almost everything comes with a full page photo, almost like a tear out. It's really nicely done. I mean, the content is pretty cool. Talks about 45s and such in here. Definitely lots of the merchandise and stuff like that. But, and just like the other ones, fans excursions and such like that. So pretty, yeah. There's the personals and stuff like that, but it stays very true to being about Stevie, about the merchandise that's coming out, articles and such, what magazines, instead of going off on little tangents, which some of the other issues, some of the other fanzines have done. This is issue number 3. Did I show the back of this one? Probably. That was 2. This is 3. And I'm sure back in the day to make, the color copies, was amazing. This, funny enough, is a pass that I'm dying to get. I've been looking for this for ages. I love it. It's a little copy of the back album cover, but yeah. With, why did I just forget his name? Anyway, it's Dora. Yeah, I would love to find that. That is a real pass out there. Some stuff about her artwork in here, which is going to be another separate video. Maybe I'll keep this out. to show it because I'm going to be doing a video just to her artwork at some point. Again, about the 45s and such. So again, just a really nice issue. And the final one and final part of the video is issue number 4, front cover and back cover. And this one has a little bit slicker paper too. The prior ones inside, it's slick on the cover, but like paper on the inside, but this one has like glossy paper on the inside too. And like a nicer little, you know, definitely more magazine style. I wish this one had continued, and on the inside even it's really nice too. Beautifully, beautifully done. Really, really nicely done. I really wish it had continued. Copied interview. Live at the Whiskey. Really, this issue is especially elegant. Kind of a review of her albums, each one of her albums. Another cool live shot. More about the time space items. Kind of a little time frame stuff, 1975 to 1991. And the last pages. Really beautiful, really beautiful. Everybody who put their heart and soul into this is just, you know, and there's quite a few others that, you know, I don't have any copies of, and I can't even think of the names right now, but fanzines were just a really cool thing. And I know a lot of people still make zines or fanzines, whatever you want to call them, but I really wish there was still a Stevie Nicks one. I love the internet. I love what we can do and what we can share, and it's so immediate. But you know, going back to copies like this of stuff is just a really cool medium, and I miss those days. So I hope you enjoyed seeing them. Let me know if there's any more you'd like to see. Let me know if you have other ones. I know there's other ones, and I'm sorry that I can't remember the names right now. But let me know of those other ones, and let me know if you have any of the other ones. I'd like to see them. And also let me know if anybody's got the Book of Miracles. I'm real curious about that. So yeah, this nice little pile of fanzines. And thank you so much. Sorry this video went kind of long. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Everybody have a great night. Bye.